So what drew me to this house initially was its warmth and its homey kind of vibe. And in particular, these beams up here. This was the first thing that completely sold me on this house.
Do you know what it takes to turn underground mixtapes into platinum records and heartbreak into chart-topping hits? G-Eazy did that. The slick-haired, leather-jacketed rapper who built his own lane from the ground up? I bet you have. Behind the platinum plaques and sold-out tours is a story of pressure, public breakups, controversy, and personal battles. Before the platinum records, before the fashion campaigns, before the sold-out world tours, there was just a kid from Oakland with a laptop, a vision, and a relentless grind. Through it all, he keeps evolving, experimenting with sounds, vulnerable storytelling, and cinematic visuals that set him apart in hip-hop's crowded landscape. In this video, I will be taking you through the life of G-Eazy, his lifestyle, and everything about it. But before we get started, give this video a thumbs up and kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let us take it from the ground up. You know when, where, and how the life of this rap legend started. Gerald Earl Gillum entered the world on May 24, 1989, in Oakland, California, born to two creative spirits, Edward Gillum, an art professor, and Suzanne Olmsted, an artist and teacher. Their home was filled with canvases, pigments, conversations about creativity, an atmosphere that wrapped around Gerald from the beginning. But in his first grade year, the stability of that world cracked. His parents separated, pushing Gerald, his mother, and his younger brother James into his grandparents' modest Berkeley home. Space was tight. The three shared a room, a reality that introduced him early to the quiet grind of financial struggle. And struggle demanded responsibility. At just 14 years old, Gerald was already clocking hours at the Top Dog restaurant chain, determined to contribute, an early sign of the work ethic that would later become central to his identity. At Berkeley High School, the pulse of local hip-hop became his compass. The Pack, a group of students who managed to score a Billboard hit, turned aspiration into something tangible for Gerald. If they could do it, why not him? That spark lit the fuse. He started tinkering with beats on the Reason software, selling mixtapes out of his backpack for $5. What began as experimentation quickly became an obsession. Even before the world knew his name, G-Eazy was already on the grind, crafting the earliest outlines of his sound. During these formative years, he joined his first rap group, the Bay Boys, a small but meaningful step. Their early tracks lived on MySpace, a digital storefront window for ambitious dreamers. These collaborations gave him his first taste of constructing music as part of something bigger than himself, and helped sharpen the skills he'd soon use to stand alone. In 2007, Gerald took a dramatic step eastward, trading the Bay Area's fog for the humid, music-swollen air of New Orleans. At Loyola University New Orleans, he studied music industry studies, officially bridging his passion with professional pursuit. Here, his artistic DNA evolved. He absorbed the southern bounce that dominated the city's soundscape and drew influence from Louisiana legends like Lil Wayne, blending this new energy with the hyphy vibrations of his Oakland roots. It was a turning point, where Gerald Gillum began transforming into the artist the world would soon meet. His dorm room became a makeshift studio, cluttered with cables and ambitions. He collaborated with fellow student and producer Christoph Anderson, producing tracks and building a catalog that started turning heads. By the time he graduated in 2011, Gerald wasn't simply another student with a music degree. He had already toured with giants like Lil Wayne and Drake, quietly studying their stagecraft, learning how to hold a crowd in the palm of his hand. These experiences didn't just inspire him, they trained him. The turning point came that same year with the release of The Endless Summer. Powered by the viral success of his retro-inspired track, Run Around Sue, the project pulled G-Eazy into a wider spotlight. The song's millions of YouTube views marked his shift from underground hopeful to visible force in the indie hip-hop landscape. Touring became a major part of his professional growth. In 2012, he performed on the Vans Warped Tour and joined national tours with Swayze and others, building a dedicated fan base, one venue at a time. These constant performances helped refine his stagecraft and expanded his reach across the country. Later that year, he released his first independent full-length album, Must Be Nice. Without any label machinery behind him, the project still climbed to number 33 on the Billboard R&B/hip-hop chart and reached number 3 on the iTunes hip-hop chart, an impressive milestone for an artist operating almost entirely on his own momentum. His breakthrough into the mainstream came in 2014 with These Things Happen, his major label debut under RCA Records. The album entered the Billboard 200 at number 3, signaling his arrival as a nationally recognized artist. The project's atmospheric production, introspective writing, and sleek aesthetic helped distinguish him from his peers, establishing a cohesive brand that resonated with fans and critics alike. Building on this momentum, G-Eazy released When It's Dark Out in 2015, delivering one of the defining songs of his career, Me, Myself, and I, a collaboration with Bebe Rexha. The song soared across charts, becoming a multi-platinum hit and solidifying his position as a mainstream success. Following the album's triumph, he embarked on international tours across the United States, Europe, and Australia, performing to growing crowds and further expanding his global presence. G-Eazy continued evolving with 2017's The Beautiful and Damned, an album that explored the tension between fame, identity, and personal struggle. Its darker tone and confessional lyrics showcased his willingness to confront the complexities of success, pushing his artistry into more introspective territory. His cultural influence expanded beyond music as well. G-Eazy's fashion sense, sleek, monochromatic, and refined, earned attention in the style world. He collaborated with Rare Panther and was named one of the most stylish figures at New York Fashion Week by GQ, reinforcing his status as both a musical and cultural tastemaker. In the years that followed, G-Eazy continued experimenting and releasing new work, including These Things Happen Too, 2021, Freak Show, 2024, and Helium, 2025. Though these projects met varying commercial outcomes, they reflected his commitment to artistic evolution and willingness to push into new sonic territories, traits that have defined his career from the beginning. Through independent beginnings, viral moments, major label triumphs, international tours, and constant reinvention, G-Eazy's is an artist who built his career brick by brick, fueled by ambition, adaptability, and a relentless drive to create. And even now, the arc of his journey continues upward, shaped by the same determination that once powered a college student working late into the night on a laptop in New Orleans. Music brings in huge revenue, so let us see how heavy his pockets are. As of 2026, public estimates place G-Eazy's net worth between $10 million and $13 million, depending on the financial model and source consulted. Even the more conservative estimates still place him firmly among hip-hop's mid-tier earners, and the range reflects the many moving parts of his financial engine. G-Eazy's journey to this level of wealth began long before he ever stepped onto a large stage. From his early mixtape days, he built the kind of fan base that translates into sustained income. But it was his major label breakout, These Things Happen, that first pushed him into serious earnings territory, debuting at number 3 on major charts and opening high-revenue touring opportunities. His financial ascent accelerated with When It's Dark Out and its hit single, Me, Myself, and I, which brought mainstream recognition and lucrative performance fees. As his star grew, touring became one of the most powerful engines of his wealth. From headlining festivals like Lollapalooza to international tours that stretched across 9 months at a time. Performances became not just artistic milestones, but financial ones. Income didn't stop at music. G-Eazy built a diversified portfolio that includes fashion, endorsements, and strategic brand partnerships. Reports cite collaborations with brands such as Puma and various spirits companies, along with capsule drops and fashion ventures that add hundreds of thousands annually. These outside business layers often cushion the quieter years between album cycles. His lifestyle investments also reflect his accumulated earnings. Sources note real estate holdings, such as a luxury Los Angeles mansion, as well as high-end vehicles. These assets, combined with the value of his music catalog, round out his wealth profile. Financial analysis from 2025 to 2026 suggests that G-Eazy's net worth operates with the consistency of a well-run enterprise. Streaming royalties, catalog revenue, selective endorsements, and touring profits contribute to steady annual gains. One projection estimates that, beginning from roughly $12 million in 2025, he may retain over $1 million in earnings through 2026, pushing his net worth toward $13 million by year end. Yet, beyond the numbers is a broader truth. G-Eazy built his wealth the way he built his career, piece by piece, tour by tour, track by track. His path isn't the story of a one-hit windfall, but of a carefully balanced ecosystem of music, branding, and entrepreneurial instinct. I earlier mentioned real estate and high-end vehicles. Let us take a look at his real estate portfolio and also his car collection. Starting for the former, his home. G-Eazy's rise in music didn't just bring platinum plaques and global tours. It built the foundation for a real estate chapter that mirrors his artistic identity. Stylish, meticulously crafted, and unmistakably personal. And nowhere is that more evident than in the home he lovingly dubbed Jerryland. His most well-known residence is a Spanish and Tuscan-inspired villa perched in the storied hills of Hollywoodland in Beechwood Canyon, a neighborhood famed for its cinematic history and sweeping views. G-Eazy purchased the home in 2016 for $1.8 million, beginning what would become nearly a decade of transformation and creative reinvention within its walls. The villa, roughly 3,600 plus square feet, became more than a home. It became an artistic sanctuary. With 4 bedrooms, multiple spa-like baths, and handcrafted architectural details, the residence embodied the blend of old-world craftsmanship and modern artistry that defined him. Custom Italian and Moroccan tiles, rustic hardwood floors, and artisanal ironwork flowed throughout, lending the home the air of a retreat tucked away from the world. But the heart of Jerryland wasn't just its design, it was its creative energy. The detached guest house became G-Eazy's personal recording studio, a workspace where he wrote some of his biggest hits. Industry insiders note that he poured substantial investment into the home, redesigning the kitchen, crafting a dramatic walk-in closet, and customizing fixtures throughout. This wasn't simply a renovation, it was a full expression of his artistic life. The property sat behind gated walls on a steep hillside parcel, offering panoramic jetliner views, stretching from city lights to the iconic Hollywood sign. Outdoor spaces included multiple terraces, an elevated fire pit lounge, and a saltwater pool with a Baja shelf, creating an atmosphere equally suited to solitude or celebration. Even the interior design told a story. The moody living room, draped with Persian rugs and anchored by a white fireplace and piano, spoke to his musical identity. The dark green chef's kitchen, outfitted with Wolf appliances, blended vintage character with luxury. His walk-in closet, painted in dramatic black and filled with designer pieces and a famously enviable sneaker collection, reflected the polished visual identity fans knew on stage. After years of calling Jerryland home, even as he increasingly spent time living in New York, G-Eazy made the decision to part with the beloved villa. Beginning in early 2025, he listed it for $3.7 million, nearly double his original investment. Later that same year, the price adjusted to $2.85 million, though the property's character, craftsmanship, and creative legacy remained priceless to fans who followed the story. His decision to sell wasn't about walking away, it was about evolution. The move reflected a shifting personal chapter, but the home itself remains a lasting symbol of his rise. The place where a young artist turned fame into foundation, sound into space, and a house into a home woven with ambition, reinvention, and the echoes of music made late into the night. Now to that car collection. His lineup begins with a Lamborghini Huracan, one of the crown jewels of his garage. Known for its sharp lines and supercar pedigree, the Huracan typically commands around $200,000 and upward, depending on configuration. For G-Eazy, it embodies the thrill of success wrapped in Italian engineering. Nearby rests a sculpted masterpiece, the Ferrari 458 Italia. Admired for its balance of elegance and ferocity, the 458's market value generally falls between $200,000 and $300,000, a price suited for a performer who built his identity on sleek presentation and power beneath the surface. But the most personal prancing horse in his stable is the Ferrari 488, a reward he bought for himself the moment he turned in one of his albums. This wasn't just a purchase, it was a promise fulfilled. The 488 typically comes in at $330,000 to $350,000, making it one of the most expensive and emotionally significant cars he owns. Yet G-Eazy's story doesn't begin with six-figure supercars. It starts with steel, history, and heart. His black 1965 Mustang Fastback, the first car he ever owned. A classic symbol of American rebellion and independence, 65 Fastbacks often range from $30,000 to $60,000, depending on condition. To him, though, the value is immeasurable. It's a living fragment of his early grind, long before luxury came calling. For moments that call for understated elegance over adrenaline, G-Eazy turns to his Mercedes-Benz S-Class. More than a sedan, it's the kind of vehicle that glides through city lights with quiet authority. New S-Class models typically sit between $110,000 and $150,000, perfectly matching his polished, monochrome aesthetic. Refinement takes a British accent with his Bentley Continental GT, a luxury coupe built like a sculpture in motion. These models usually start in the $250,000 range, rising quickly with bespoke options, an ideal fit for an artist who values timelessness as much as trend. Then there's the practical powerhouse, the Cadillac Escalade, an SUV favored by performers who need room for travel, gear, and entourage without sacrificing prestige. Escalades typically land between $80,000 and $100,000, making it the everyday luxury workhorse of his automotive ensemble. Across these machines, vintage soul, supercar fire, and luxury comfort, every engine note is a timestamp. Every price tag is a milestone. Together, the fleet forms a narrative as dynamic and stylish as G-Eazy himself. Moving on, his personal life. Family continues to shape him. His brother James, a musician in his own right, remains both a companion and artistic parallel throughout his life. Their bond only deepened through shared struggles, especially as their mother's health declined. Suzanne Olmsted passed away in November 2021, a loss that left a profound emotional imprint on G-Eazy, echoed in the introspective themes that often surface in his music. In his romantic life, G-Eazy became known not just for his music, but for high-profile relationships that often captured public attention. He dated singer Halsey after meeting at New York Fashion Week in 2017, with the two ultimately parting ways in late 2018. Afterward, he had relationships with model Yasmin Wijnaldum, singer Lana Del Rey, and actress Ashley Benson in 2020. These connections, while lived in private, became part of the narrative orbiting his public image, fueling headlines but also influencing the emotional textures heard in his songs. Yet his personal life isn't just defined by grief or romance. It's shaped by the small, distinctive habits and quirks that make him unmistakably himself. He has spoken openly about growing up with financial hardship, about working jobs since age 14, and about finding refuge in music when the world felt chaotic. His artistic upbringing, his family's creative DNA, and the emotional landscapes he navigated, these all feed into the introspective side he reveals through lyrics rather than interviews. And in more recent years, as the world has watched his star rise and evolve, G-Eazy has continued shaping his life with the same blend of ambition and introspection that defined his early days. As of 2023, he has been in a relationship with model Janae Noah, reflecting a new chapter in his personal world, one less chaotic, more grounded, and deeply connected to the man behind the stage persona. Through family ties, heartbreaks, creative roots, and personal transformation, G-Eazy's personal life reads like a companion narrative to his music, textured, complex, vulnerable, and unwaveringly human. Behind the fame, he remains the same Gerard from Oakland, shaped by love, loss, loyalty, and the rhythm of a life lived both in the public eye and within the private rooms where the world's noise fades. You've just walked through the chapters he doesn't always rap about. The childhood split between homes, the long nights in Berkeley sharing a room with his brother James, the artistic heartbeat of his mom Suzanne guiding his earliest sparks of creativity. You've felt the weight of the moments that shaped him, the financial struggles, the early jobs, the grind that carved his resilience. And you've seen the softer, human side behind the fame, the relationships, the heartbreaks, the growth, and the loss of his mother in 2021 that left a permanent mark on his music and his life. Now, as we step back from the story, you get this final moment. A last look at Gerald, not G-Eazy, the kid from Oakland who turned pain into poetry, ambition into motion, and personal struggle into the soundtrack of a generation. So if you felt something today, if his story hit you in a way the headlines never could, smash that like button, drop a comment with your favorite G-Eazy moment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into the lives behind the legends. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay inspired, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.